Hello?
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Hello there.
Are we
Are we?
on? We're getting adjusted here, folks. Shenanigans, but we won't. We're going to keep doing it like we've been doing it so everybody has a chance to get themselves situated. You can grab your refreshment, run to the fridge, sit down. We're sure everybody's watching. Get your popcorn, right?
Popcorn ready.
Popcorn ready. Once everyone's popcorn ready, we'll get started here. We're gonna do a couple little different things tonight. If you're watching, we want to just do a quick touch on some security dog competition stuff, and then we're going to go into, I guess our biggest interest, Scott, is the guard dog stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're gonna actually show it. Scott, while we were training, was it last Saturday? You talked about we ought to put the slingshot on the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were doing one of our training exercises because I know once you're doing any of the sport training, you send your dog, he bites, you out your dog. That's it. All right. You send your dog, he bites, he outs. That's it. We actually have techniques, styles that we teach the dog, just like this is a jab, this is a hook. And Scott said, maybe we should enlighten people about some of these differences, because I don't think, I don't know, you spend some time on the YouTube, you ever seen anyone else talk about teaching a fighting style, I guess you call it?
It's not more style, it's more progressions.
Progressions?
They don't show you the how or the why or anything really. It's just they're showing the dogs. And if you work with dogs, you know dogs, you can see the progression of the dog, or the dog's mouth open, how he's coming in, how he's hitting, and the out commands and proper positioning and everything, but otherwise
they don't show you how to get a dog to knock a man off his feet.
No. They show dogs knocking people off their feet though.
Yeah,
there's some good dogs out there, don't get me wrong, there's some good dogs out there.
So what we're gonna try to do tonight is we're gonna give you one of the training exercises that we use to teach a dog how to be more efficient, literally what I consider mixed martial arts of dog bites. But before we do that, we got one little thing we need to touch on. For those of you that watch us regularly, a couple of weeks ago we had our opening pro sports trial, and while we got started, I was pleasantly surprised at the scores that the people were able to attain. Now, there's a few things we do differently in a pro sports trial that I don't think you're going to find at any other dog venue, at least none that I know of. So you go to the dog show and you're going to get a title, or you're going to get a prize or trophy. And titles can work the same way that certifications do. But what happens in a lot of dog events, and depending on your classification, the training classes are always jam-packed full, and then the super expert class has got 2 dogs in it, right? And there's people that go around the country just looking for the super expert class with 2 dogs. They go to, there's a show in No Water, Idaho. Ain't nobody else gonna be there. I'm gonna go up there to No Water and I'm gonna win a trophy. So one of the things we did early on in pro sports, because it's about teaching your dog to be a proper, capable bodyguard. And it's also about you knowing or getting to work with other trainers and other people that will help you. And that's why our score sheet, it can be used as a training deal. So what we have is a certification, and it's not easy. You got to get a 70% of your score in the security division. It's 200 points, I think. Mm-hmm. And in your patrol division, you can get, that's a basic security dog certification. It's a 70% of your score. So you can you could go to a trial with 10 contestants, 3 of them get a trophy, but all 10, if you had a real good field, conceivably could certify, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way, these people know exactly where their dog's at. And if they don't get certified, they can take that score sheet and they know where their weaknesses are. And they can improve on them from there. So, in our first trial, I really wasn't expecting much, to be honest with you. But it was predominantly a Western Shepherd group because obviously all the local folks that work with me, train here, were involved, but we had certified judges. And I'm glad to say we had a couple certifications.
Mm-hmm.
So sitting at a 70% for the security dog division, which is the only one we worked at. Hey, Agent Butters,
What?
where you at? Come up here a minute. You got your partner with you?
I do. Where do you want me? Can you see
Oh,
over here or do you want me over
You
there?
look right there. You're
Right
good
here.
right there.
Come
You're
here.
good right there.
Bullet! You gotta
So for Mr. Bullet and Agent Butters, whoops.
Oh, look! I wasn't expecting this. Oh, this is cool. Yay, thanks, Butch.
Well, you're, wait.
Thank you for the work you put in for your
Yes,
dog.
yes.
That's what it deserves to get the
And-
accolades.
Scotch. Say thank you.
And get a close up in your certificate there.
And you.
Oh, come here, Daddy.
It,
Right, Daddy.
it,
Look!
then right over there.
Right here.
Perfect.
Come here. Heel.
There we go.
They also won Pro Sport medallions,
Love it.
and
Yay.
they've got a qualified certificate they could use even in a court of law. And along with,
Ah, that's so cool.
you can pull close up on this one here, Carol Ann. This is our other certified dog was Katie Plessity with Harmony. You know, Katie's our puppy guru, and her dog Harmony, who Harmony is like 3 or 4 years old. She's been trying to compete in pro sports trials for all of those 3 and 4 years. Every year, every trial for 3 or 4 years that Katie was wanting to compete in the trial at Harmony, Harmony came in heat the week before the trial. Every time.
Yep, sure did.
So anyway, suitable for framing, huh, Carrie?
Yes, it's going in a frame.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's cool.
So anyway, we'll be doing our next trial will be June. It's the weekend of June the 9th. I don't know exactly the date, but we will be announcing it pretty soon. It will be a full 2-division competition. We'll have security dog and patrol dog that you can run in. We also have Janet and Janet and Jarrett was our team that won first place with another Western Shepherd named Kiwi, who's an amazing dog like Bullet. And I'm not going to make any predictions. I've got to do the math on theirs, but they won first place, obviously certified here. We have 2 levels in all our certifications. We had the basic certification at 70%, and then if you happen to get 85%, you get an X at the end of your security title right there. That's Security Dog Excellent. It's not easy to achieve. I will throw out some names and say hello to an old friend, Thomas Raven from Denmark, who was actually the man who started pro sports in Denmark for us and ran it for years. And he's the only person ever to win a security dog excellent and patrol dog excellent and a world championship in both divisions. So everyone's got some high goals to try to achieve to match it.
I'm looking ahead of you.
Yeah, but so what do we do the slingshot for, Scott?
Well, basically, you're sending your dog out. You want the dog to hit center mass like a target. You want your dog going up. Let me talk about this. Assailant's with a rubber gun. What's it gonna do? Go up. Now, most dog, we take him up, and this is the beginning of understanding. This is when you're starting to proof your dog to do what he's supposed to do in the guard dog training,
Right.
our style of training dogs, right? So what we'll do is you'll come up and you're getting the dogs on a leash still, but you're bringing them back, you're pulling them back in, and then you're actually sending the dog on a leash. So you got 6 foot of leash, you're bringing back, dog's back, the dog should come out and go up, right? So basically,
That's the sport bite.
sport by here. See, dog is sent out, dog is coming up. Can you see this?
Here, hold it. Move. There you go.
Dog is coming out, dog is up to the sleeve. Pretty good open mouth there, full bite coming in. The dog is, legs are hanging, right? So he's coming up and just hitting you in a leash, and when he bites, he'll be sitting there. Legs aren't active. Because in sports, usually the dog come out with his legs, they'll knock the legs back down.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So they're looking for just a bite. So good form, everything looks good on this dog, but once he takes the bite, the dog's incapacitated. What's it supposed to do? Hang there, right? So anyway, so Butch, what do you think of that?
Well, that's about it. And it's like he just said, if you go through the YouTube videos and everything, you'll see the dogs bite, and just like Scott said, then they hang there. What happens when they actually launch? You got another shot there, Scott? No, the other one there.
Oh yeah.
See, that's on a leash, but what if they've actually launched? Now you have this German Shepherd fixing to jump, and he's got his mouth open, he's fixing to bite. But compare that German Shepherd, hold that up there. Compare that German Shepherd to this German Shepherd. Let me know when you got those both in there,
you want the other
Caroline.
one?
Huh?
You want this one?
Nah, just that other one right there. You see, they're both launching. They're both going for the bite. Now, which one do you think has got the most likely chance of taking somebody out? Yep. So, let me point out a few things that we find important in the guard dog business. Because remember, our dogs have to handle a man all by themselves, solo. They don't get backup, they don't get help. So the first thing, of course, you're going to notice the excellent attempt at a full mouth bite. But look at these feet right here. Now this is a lucky shot we got. This was a person who said, I want to try and, beginning decoy, who obviously got really scared when Osa actually got there. But whenever we train, our decoys always work at profile. On the street, a person will be facing a dog if he's coming in, which means that first you're going to bring your arms up to defend yourself. I don't care if you got a gun. Even if you got a gun and you're going to shoot at the dog, if he's running, you're going to miss, right? So the reason we do arm bites is because it's a natural tendency for human beings, and I've seen this on the street. I'm not talking about something I saw in a training field, okay? It's natural for you to protect your face. So we hold our arms up like this, but the next thing our dogs are doing differently is these feet. We want to train the dog to hit the man with his feet and his bite at about the same time. If this man were standing full frontal facing, these feet, as you can see, will be punching him right in the gut. This means that by the time the mouth clamps down on the upper body, the feet are acting like a base on a seesaw. The dog can now bite, clamp down, and pull with the front feet in the perp's gut. There's just not a whole lot of people are going to be standing up when your dog hits them like that. The last thing they're going to do is try to go and grab a collar, because they're going to be on the ground. You can be sure of that. Now, for all of the people who are saying, well, yeah, but what if? Let's say that the person did not go to block. Let's say instead of going to block or cover their face with their arms, they decided, say it's maybe some guy that was a decoy once upon a time, and he's thinking, And he says, ooh, that dog's coming at me. I'm not going to stick my arms up. I'm going to dodge. Well, you know what? You can dodge, but what are those front feet going to do? You may not get bit right then, but those front feet are still traveling at 30 miles an hour with 80 pounds behind it, 90, 100 pounds behind it. And those feet are going to hit you. Even if they don't knock you down or knock the bad guy perp down, they're going to knock him enough off balance that dog has a clean shot at another bite. So there's literally no escaping when you can teach your dogs, and you can see through these photos. And I would welcome anybody who can go through the YouTube, if you got a couple hours to spend, find me photos or videos of the dogs that they're now training today. Find me one that hits like that with these front feet up and using his feet as a weapon as well as his mouth. In fact,
Now, if you stay up in the air, if you stay up, let's say you stay up, you'll get knocked down.
right,
The dog's inertia, and these dogs are tendency, it's all forward motion, pushing to bite. Well, now the dog has, he'll push into the bite, and when he pushes in, his back legs start tracking backwards because he wants to pull you back. So he'll take it and he'll throw you his front legs off and start pulling back, which obviously you're hitting this way, then all of a sudden you're getting pulled this way. So unless you're ready for it, and side profiling is different because you have your equilibrium, your balance, your back leg's balancing your front leg, that way there. But if you're straight up, you're going forward. You're going to hit here, and he got you here, and he pulling you back. He's coming back, and you're coming face down.
right. And when you go face down, the arm that he's got in his mouth is going out here, and while he's dragging you with your nose plowing up cement, you're not going to be able to reach that dog. Your biggest concern for a guard dog in a fight with a man, or any solo dog in a fight with a man, is that human getting a hold of that collar. Because despite what you may have heard and what a lot of people will tell you, what separates humans from animals is our brain. Well, if you've run across some of the characters I've run across in life, you'll know that ain't true. But what really separates us is our thumbs, because we can grab a collar. That's all it takes. If you're out here and that dog is, like Scott said, he's planted them feet in your gut and he's pulled you down, and then you've taught your dog to pull, pull, pull. That person's on the ground, face down, dragging, and there's no way that they're going to take and grab that collar, which means there's no way your dog's going to lose the fight.
And that applies to if someone starts running from you, run off, right? You run off. So dog's going to come to your back shoulder, right? Or touch you in the back. So these dogs, and if you try to dodge a dog, the dog's up. He can turn, I've seen Bullet do it. Not Bullet, I'm sorry, Bart. Uncanny ability to be in the air, and Deco will try to sidestep him. He'll come over and get you in midair, and he'll turn over, and he'll come off and push off you, and then you flip over. Oh, the dogs, and I had a Doberman do that too. Same thing. Come in, hit your shoulder. The inertia, the dog's inertia, he takes it out when his back end's swinging in the air like this as he's biting. All of a sudden, the perp is flat on his back. You know what happened. So
He's yours.
So it's basically, a lot of mouth work, but the legs are important because the dogs were taught to pull.
Yep.
Like those bulldogs. Bulldogs do that. That's their natural ability is to pull
Right,
back,
right.
So some of these dogs, that's why when we go do a slingshot, it's probably proofing the dog, doing arm sleeve work, coming in on regular patterns with the dogs. Then people say, well, they hit a certain level, it's time to get them to start working on their stance. So I want the dog to be caught a certain way, but a dog has to act a certain way and perform a certain way. Well, we want them to perform for this to be possible.
Right.
That's why we incorporated a slingshot inside. A slingshot basically is an on-leash technique. What are you playing, Butch?
Okay, it's what everything we're doing. Remember, we're teaching these dogs different fighting techniques and styles, just like you would any canine martial or any human martial artist. The slingshot is what we use to teach a dog to launch high and to put them feet right out, straight-legged, like Miss Osa does in that picture. So it's a really simple little maneuver, but we've got to get our dogs hitting correctly before we ever worry about doing sins with them. Because by the time, if you were ever in a situation, like I say, a purse snatcher grabs you, let's take it a notch, let's get real serious. Let's say some pervert, wacko, grabs your kid on a playground and takes off running with a kid. Now, that's where you need to send your dog, because you need to save your baby. When a dog goes and hits this way, you know that that person's going down and they're staying down, and that your dog is going to be able to win that fight with no harm to himself until you can collect yourself and everything you need to make sure this person's down. So we have training techniques for all this stuff, for teaching the dogs to rebite an offending hand. And this is our basic one. This is where we start after we've taught the dog to pull. We're going to let Scott and Bullet and Agent Butters kind of demonstrate. We're going to walk through this real slow motion because we don't want Bullet to get excited and take Scott out. He's got things to do tomorrow. Agent Butters, leash up your beast. No, we're not gonna.
Pumping him
Yeah,
up.
No.
Okay.
So we're-
Over here.
Yeah. So we're gonna move the camera, and
You
we're
want me
gonna.
right here?
Yep, you be right there,
Oh, it's a-
and I'm gonna talk through the whole thing, and bring him out a little bit, and then just tell him to sit. Now you back up like you'd be at the end of the leash. Okay, now, we're gonna try to keep him from getting excited because Scott's just wearing a little t-shirt. And what happens is, as he's agitating, he'll tell the handler to reel him in, is the words I use, and you'll start pulling your dog back to you, reel him back. And as she pulls him back,
I'm coming in this way, agitating the dog and everything else. So the dog is back and touching her, to the side of her, like he is. I'll come in close enough. Dog is lit up by now, right? So he's going. I'll come in, and I'll go ahead, and I'll start backing out. Okay, where the end of the leash is, I'll give her the signal, and she'll send her dog. Boom. And he'll be coming up and hitting me. On leash. So it's a short send on a controlled send, basically. So, but last time the dog to come in, and I'm working him up and coming out, the dog had a choice but to actually launch. It has to come up and bite me. It's not down here, a little bite. It's not a leg bite. It's nothing. You're up straight, full profile, and you're coming up and hitting your dog's profile. And the dog's coming up, and he's gonna come out in a leash and get a bite. Boom. Then from that point, we can see actually, what you need to work on. But it starts giving the dog in the habit of starting to launch the dogs.
right, so,
We started this. Bullet's done it. Bullet don't do it anymore. He's trained. We're sending the dog's doing call-offs. These are, the advanced dogs, but as the starter dogs are starting, younger dogs.
right,
Then, and on that case too, also, it gives the handler an ability too to start knowing what to look for, how to release the dog.
yep,
Because sometimes when you send your dog, it'll be on a leash. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, the dogs aren't on a leash.
right,
But when a dog is on a leash,
right.
so
So,
to get the feel, and the dog gets to the end of that leash, and you don't knock yourself over.
Marino with Connie Corso says, Luca likes to body check you at the knees.
that's cool. That works. And that's a great point. Hey, Marino, glad you wrote that in. Give me a chance. Remember, every physical type has its benefits. Every breed of dog was created for a specific task. Mastiffs were meant to pull Roman soldiers or attacking soldiers, cavalry off their horses. They had to be big, powerful, and they had to want to be able to pull somebody off of a horse. The herding dogs were not ever bred for specifically bite work, but when we taught them that, because of the framework that they had with their positive attribute is from their body is the speed that they generate when they hit. So Mastiffs will pretty naturally, any Mastiff, Corso, Great Dane, English, they will pretty naturally bite and jerk down. We don't really have to teach them that. They just automatically do it. So if you got one that's body checking, he's instinctively doing, Marino, what we're trying to teach the herding dogs to do, because it's more in their nature. Now, let me walk through exactly what's going to happen when you're with a herding dog when you're using this slingshot method. We use a 6-foot leash. The reason being that 6-foot leash, time you pull the dog back to you, when you release it, the dog will have room for 2.5 strides. The first stride will bring him out. The second stride will pick up a little bit of speed. And by the time he starts the third stride, he's almost at the person. His feet are in the air, and they will end up going against the perp. That's when he also gets his bite, which is what he wants. So the timing of that 6-foot leash and those 2.5 strides are what put him in a position to start learning. Boom, I hit the man here and I got him with my mouth. I got my bite, right? So now your agitator immediately puts the dog on the ground, rewards him with a fight, slips. 3 or 4 more times, and pretty soon the dog's going, I'm gonna plant my feet in this sucker every time, because that's how I get the best bite, because the dogs will assess it. Dogs like to win. I think that's something that is never, I've never seen it mentioned in protection training, but they're competitors. They are competitors, and they like to win, and once you get them started against a man, they love to win that fight as well, which is why they can try to maul you 1 minute. When it's all over, they like 2 fighters in the ring, they can walk up and shake hands.
Now what he's saying, bite the knees, that's good too, because you can incorporate leg bites with this also. I'm just showing on the high end, on the top half bites. Low end bite work also, but when you're working the dogs, the pups coming up, you're working top end.
Right.
Okay, like, French ring, all bottom end.
Right.
Right.
Right. All leg
I
bites.
mean, it's a great thing, but you start, the basic is basically going top end bites. Right?
Right.
You start perfecting that on leash, just doing regular bites with your patterns and agitation, then you go to the slingshots. So you're incorporating your bites of your dog pulling, and you're starting to send your dog the high bites.
Right.
Now, dog get to another level of that, you also incorporate the leg bites the same way. So then your dog has an option.
Exactly.
So it's not all top end bites.
No. We always work up and down. We got another question, Carrie?
He says he doesn't bite the knee, he knocks people
Right,
down at the
right.
knee.
Right, but
Right, yeah, we understood that.
Okay.
Yeah, we understood that.
His preferred place to bite is the groin.
Yep.
I want a
Well,
dog to do that.
And I'll bring the video. We got a video of a dog doing that to me. I'll bring it next
I'm gonna
week.
teach my little dog to do that.
But as long as he's brought that up and what Scott's saying, let me point some things out. If you're going to M.M.A, they're fighting in certain body weight classes, right? If you're boxing, if you're powerlifting, you put similar body sizes against similar body sizes in competition, because different body sizes gives you different abilities, different strengths, different weaknesses. Same thing applies to dogs. Marino's talking about his Cane Corsos. This is a big, powerful Mastiff. They will naturally grab and bring you down. So when we're training, think of it this way. All our dogs do leg bites, because dogs that target just the upper body will never target anything except the upper body. Sometimes in the guard dog business, at the cost of their lives, because they were so determined to bite upper body that, they didn't grab the legs. They could have pulled someone out of a closet, and that person was able to get something and do harm to the dog. So all our dogs bite up and down. But how much of each one is going to depend on the dog, size, and breed. We don't just train one dog or every dog to do everything the same way. If we have a dog, look at it this way. If we have a dog that's 85 pounds up, we're gonna make sure he'll do a leg bite, but we're not gonna work on leg bites. We're not gonna do sins and expect him to grab somebody who kicks at him. Because physically, it's gonna be difficult. A dog that's that big will literally have to squat to get the bite. If someone's kicking at him and it's up in the air, okay, great. We've taught him not to target, but to hit whatever's moving towards him. So he's going to take that man out by his leg. But if the person is under a car, this larger dog is not going to go down and necessarily and grab his legs. But the minute that person, because he can't get down that low, it's putting him at a disadvantage. A 60-pound dog, we're going to work him on leg bites. We're going to teach him to move, dodge, whether he's on the leg or upper body. So we're going to be much more extensive in their training than we would with the 100-pound dog. Because as he's going to get somebody, he may see an advantage, and believe me, they see advantage. A dog in a fight is no different than a man in a fight. He looks for his advantages and takes them. A 60-pound dog is going to be a little over knee high. He may see an advantage in someone by grabbing him by the thigh or the knee. That option's open to that dog. So our smaller dogs are going to be doing a lot more below the waist bites. Our larger dogs, not so much.
No, like he's saying, he's calling the groin. That's eye level for the dog.
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, them dogs, we had a few dogs out here where dogs weren't smart. Well, they were turning decoys and opening them up, releasing and going underneath to the armpit or into the side of into the groin, liver area too. So, that's the advantage for that dog.
Yeah.
But it was eye height.
Right.
He wasn't going down by his ankle.
No.
He was hitting right where he could hit. Boom.
Exactly.
So.
What you got, Butters?
Court said, what age is a good age to have a dog trained for protection if they are a good candidate?
Let's say for, and again, let's figure in body types and maturity level. I'll start playing. You can start playing protection games with puppies. That'll teach them all the commands. Go over there and bite that. Sick them, whatever you want to say. But when you're actually getting to the stress of protection training, if you're looking at any of your herding dogs, or let's say dogs up to, when they're mature, dogs that'll be up to 85 pounds, you can start them at right about let's say 9 months of age, serious training.
Yeah, you're talking about trying to apply root pressure.
Right, yeah, and that's what we're talking about, is the point of applying pressure.
Pressure to see what the dog, yeah.
Right. You can teach the routines and the steps.
But then you kick it up a notch and see.
Yeah, can they take the pressure? For Mastiffs, I would prefer, so we're going to teach our Mals and our Shepherds at about 7 to 9 months of age to start earliest, depending on the dog. And for our Mastiffs, we're going to start at 10 to 14 months of age. Just, again, depending on the dog. Everything's going to have variances. Oh, we got our tech crew over here giggling. They're huddling up. Something's going on.
I was trying to figure. Rodrigo sent me. It looks like a smiley face with a peace sign, but my eyes are so bad I can't see.
Hey, Rodrigo. So that's basically it. Remember, what you don't look at in the sports world, because remember, all sports were started, all bite sports were started as a certification system for a specific breed, or with a specific breed in mind. So they're tailored around that dog's abilities and expectations. So choose your sport, consider your dog's physical size, mental aptitudes, and tendencies to do a job, what his job was originally, and go from there.
What we're doing here is basically, it's not dog specific.
No.
And obviously there's many roads to get to the same goal. So that's tailoring the training to the dog also, but keeping within the limits of the training that is given. If that makes any sense.
Right. And you can,
The end product, basically, it all comes to a
to one-
point,
right,
to
to
a
a
height
point.
where it's supposed to be.
right,
Can I make one comment?
and you can, yeah,
And also remember, when we train our dogs,
make it loud enough for us to hear you. Just
When
talk
we-
loud.
when we tell them that when we train our dogs alert on command. When we say, okay, it's okay. And if you see Bullet and you see Scott being the agitator, he still goes to Scott and is friendly as all get out. But
Yeah.
with a word, they light up.
Right, and
And
that's,
it doesn't make them mean. Doing protection work does not make a mean dog. That's
No.
what I get a lot of.
right,
My dog's gonna be mean.
You thought,
right.
or training the dog is a switch, right?
Yep, it's an on-off switch.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle also.
Hold on,
Right.
I gotta show everybody. Here's Bullet.
That's such a mean dog.
So,
Look at that beautiful
as they're watching a mean dog, you might think of it this way. As I just said, every sport, every recognized bite sport started with the goal in mind of certifying a breed as a breeding quality dog. That's what they originally started as. And then they evolved into recreation, okay? So when you pick your sport, find out what breed it started out to qualify for and see if your breed fits in that category, all right? That's the first thing. Every job requires certain physical attributes. You wouldn't ask your 60-pound Malinois to stop an 1,800-pound bull, right? But you would a 100-pound American Bulldog, so he came on a 300-pound hog. That's what he was built for. So if you want to get the maximum out of your dog, find the competition or the sport or the game you want to play that was originally engineered around your breed and go there. There's one exception to that, and the exception is real simple. Every breed, every type, every kind of dog has a natural tendency and ability to protect the pack. So protection training is in every dog's wheelhouse. Every dog can do it. It's just up to us, just like a coach in a boxing ring, to teach them the best way to fight without losing the fight. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just teaching our dogs better fighting skills against a different type of adversary. And that's what we do.
Yep. Bring the best out of the dog,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. So, any other questions on guard dogs? You folks, please list them for us. And what do you think, Scott? Call it a night?
We'll call it a night, but always remember, it's all about the dogs, and it always will be.
And that's the only reason we're here.
That's right.
See you, folks.